5 o'clock. I will call this meeting to order. This is annual board meeting number 791, Tuesday, January 14th at 5 p.m. Thank you guys for being here. First things first, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance. We have some students from Sandpoint High School that are going to help us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So please rise and remove your all caps.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item of business, I will take a motion for the approval of the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as published.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. We have the, I'll turn it over to Kelly Fisher for the oath of office.
I would like to ask David Demers to come to the podium, please. And ask that you just raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do swear or affirm that I, David R. Demers,
I do swear or affirm that I, David Demers,
support the Constitution of the United States
support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Idaho,
and the Constitution of the State of Idaho,
and that I will faithfully discharge all the duties
and I will faithfully discharge all the duties
of the office of trustee
of the office of trustee
of the Lake Pend Oreille School District number 84
of the Lake Pend Oreille School District number 84
in Bonner County, State of Idaho,
in Bonner County, State of Idaho,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Thank you very much.
All right, next we have Sandpoint High School student presentation. We have Principal Jackie Crossingham here.
Good evening, Dr. Meyer and board. We are super excited to be here this evening. Well, I can barely see over it. Let's get real. It is my pleasure to be here this evening with this lovely group of graduating seniors. And we would like to share with you some of the things that they have been experiencing since the beginning of their Sandpoint High School experience, but also focusing in on their senior experience at Sandpoint High School. A lot of places we go, we hear about what's going on, what can students do, what opportunities do they have, and they're going to showcase just some really different and diverse opportunities they've had. Some of our focus at Sandpoint High School has been on finding a trusted adult or a person to connect with. They've invited some of those people who are in the audience with us tonight, and thank you for coming to support your students. And also just increasing our graduation rate through developing programs that are interesting, intriguing, and meaningful for students. And so I'm going to introduce Assistant Principal Carrie Grenier. She's going to share with you quickly about a couple of our students who are in a pretty cool program that's new this year.
Sure, and you can hit the next slide if you want. I just wanted to introduce our Teacher Cadet program that was started last year with 2 students, and it just stemmed from the idea of supporting our own students within our own district. And we have 2 lovely representatives, Betty and Maddie, who've been part of that program where they've received district-wide training, and they're supporting our own students at our local schools. And so I'm going to start with these guys.
Hi, I'm Betty Travers, and I am one of the teacher cadets. Since my freshman year, I have always wanted to become an elementary school teacher, but when my sophomore year rolled around, I was second-guessing myself. I was nervous whether I wouldn't be good at it or wasn't good at classroom management, or even worse, what if I just didn't like it? So after some push from my trusted adult, Mr. Crossingham, I was able to realize that this is kind of the path that I want to go on, and I found the Teacher Cadet program. I was able to get dyslexia training and ECRI training, which is enhanced core reading instruction, to really push kids a little bit further on their reading steps. And now I am teaching ECRI to kindergartners every morning, and it is the best part of my day. This class really showed that this is what I want to do, and I'll be going to U of I next year and getting my elementary education degree. And here she is in action. So in this video, I am doing my ECRI lesson. And you can see at the end, I gave them a point. So we do a point system where if I can see their eyes and hear their voices, then they get a point. And if I get a point, it's when they're not paying attention or looking the other way. And at the end of the day, if they win and have more points, they get their favorite smelly marker. So they get a little dot on their hand. They get a little dot on their hand when they're paying attention. So I see a lot of eyes and you're way to have your eyes on your eyes.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
She asked me if you guys would do it, and I said, "Oh, no."
She wasn't paying attention.
Just simple things.
Taylor did. Very good, Taylor.
Okay. Yeah, I have note cards because I'm not going to remember everything like Betty did. But I'm Maddie Mitchell. Since my freshman year, I've been taking advantage of all the advanced classes that Sandpoint High School has to offer in order to challenge myself and really prepare myself for my future. In the last few years, however, I've had to take a little bit of step outside the box and work hard to find other rigorous coursework outside of Sandpoint High School. With the help of my lovely counselors and teachers, I've been able to take some amazing classes online. This semester, I've been taking AP Psychology, British Literature, AP European History, and some other online classes that have been really meaningful. My sophomore year, the French program dissolved, and with the help of Geraldine Meyer, I was able to take French 4 online independently. That took a little bit extra work than the other online classes. Throughout the last 3 years, I've learned how to advocate for myself in my educational journey and how to seek continuous challenges. This year, I had the incredible opportunity to intern at the Washington Elementary in the special education room under Samantha Garrison and Megan Yu. This internship has given me hands-on experience with students and learning how to teach them with different, accommodating to their different learning styles. Ms. Garrison has also been teaching me about the legal side of special education and how to go through procedures of confidentiality with both students and teachers. I think the most meaningful thing that I learned from Samantha Garrison, though, is how to help students advocate for themselves and their accommodations as they transition from elementary school to middle school. Additionally, a lot of my success is due to my trusted adult and my AP Literature teacher and yearbook advisor, Allison Steiger. We work on a day-to-day basis as I'm the editor-in-chief of the yearbook. She's incredibly smart, patient, and she always encourages me to push myself beyond what I think I'm capable of. Through her support, I've been able to learn a lot about what I want to do with my life. All of these experiences have shown me that learning at SHS doesn't just happen in the classroom. SHS has given me the resources, support, and guidance to pursue opportunities that will prepare me for life after high school. Looking ahead, I plan to attend a competitive college out of state, focusing on political science and then going to law school. Sandpoint High School has helped me develop strong critical thinking skills and problem solving, and I will use these skills as I pursue my goal of becoming an advocate for meaningful change.
Hey everybody, my name is Alton. You may also know me as Fisher. And ever since freshman year, I've always wanted to be an aerospace engineer. And to be an aerospace engineer, you have to go to college. So Sandpoint High School has really done everything they can to really help me gain a competitive edge in my applications for colleges. SHS has a lot of advanced classes like calculus, but Unfortunately, I finished that class in junior year, so thanks to the counseling department, I was able to take Calculus 2 and passed with an A last semester. Including mathematics, I also take a bunch of science classes like physics, and even public speaking and interpersonal classes that will really help me grow as an engineer in the future. Also, thanks to the SHS counseling department, I've really spread out from Idaho, and I've been able to take STEM camps in Annapolis, Maryland, and the Jet Propulsion Lab in Pasadena, California. Thanks to these opportunities, I really have been able to gain a competitive edge on my application and get into the university that I want. As of tomorrow, I will get my admissions decision from Purdue University, and on January 31st, I will get my admissions decision from Georgia Tech.
Hi, I'm Stella Lopez, and I want to be a librarian. This aspiration first started when I attended Washington Elementary School, and I would help the school librarian, Miss Worley, shelve books every day. It then grew when Miss Morton posted a job opening freshman year of high school on the school website. I applied and was quickly hired, and I've been working there ever since. A summer or two later, there also became an internship available through the children's department in the library, and I was able to become an intern there and get a school credit for doing this internship. I've been able to do this internship twice now, and it really helped expand my knowledge of the libraries and helped me know what department I want to go into, which is the children's department, because it combines some of my favorite things, kids and libraries. I was also able to take Career Pathways, which is Miss Morton's class. In Career Pathways, we had the opportunity to job shadow someone. I chose to job shadow the mending coordinator at the public library to again expand my knowledge of libraries. She was able to teach me how to fix books, how they were bound, and the different kinds of books. This job shadow turned into various other trainings, and I am able to now step in for her when she's gone, help her when she's overloaded with material, and answer anyone's questions they might have about mending. Because I took Career Pathways, I've also been able to take work-based learning. Work-based learning has allowed me to go for 2 periods every B-day and work at the public library. This has freed up time in my schedule so that I can teach piano lessons to kids, which is also something I want to do in my future. In my junior year of high school, Geraldine Myers suggested that I become a TA for the high school library. Mr. Dickinson at that time was revamping the library. I was excited, and so I agreed. We were both able to go in. I was able to combine my experience of libraries with his experience, and we were able to create a place that students can come and enjoy and study in. I'm so grateful for all the opportunities that I've had, and I know it will all help me on my journey to become a librarian.
My name is Emmett Lohman, and when I started here at Sandpoint High School, I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do with my life. I kind of had a bunch of ideas floating around, but nothing really rock solid. So through the welding program here at Sandpoint High School, I learned that being a welder is what I wanted to do with my future. And the class has taught me a lot of things, more than just welding. You know, welding is really important, but it also taught me 2 other really big tools, and those are designing and problem solving. So, you know, here I have a smokeless fire pit that I made in welding class. I designed it entirely on my own. Got a notebook in the welding class that has all my plans for all the projects I made. And last year I made a wood stove about this big, and it's got about 5 different moving parts on it that I all had to design and kind of trial and error, get them all working out right to get it all working correctly. And also with the problem solving, you know, when I was making this fire pit, it was all the pieces I had to make and shape them all on my own, and they didn't always fit up correctly. So what I had to do was I had to figure out a way to get them to fit right before I weld them. So I learned that, and doing a bunch of smaller projects for myself and others, fixing things and whatnot in welding class, I learned a lot of problem solving. So those two skills on top of welding are going to help me in my future when I weld in the National Guard. And, yeah.
My name's Owen Decker, and I was fortunate enough to join your community 2 years ago as a junior when I moved to Sandpoint High School. Right away, I knew that I wanted to start my journey as self-employment and owning my own business, but I didn't know how. And fortunately, I had the help of Geraldine Meyer, Jake Stark, and Josh Radigan, who basically guided me to the point I am right now. Fortunately, I was able to take advantage of the Advanced Opportunity Program and get my commercial driver's license completely paid for, which was a huge success for me because it now allows me a little more financial freedom for building my business, as well as allowing me to have a jump into my career right when I'm out of high school. As of now, I've started a business. I'm self-employed, and it's very successful, and I'm proud to say that I wouldn't have been able to do it without Sandpoint High School and our peers.
Hi, my name is Taylor Meyer, and I signed a letter of intent and a scholarship offer to play golf at Lewis Clark State College in Lewiston, Idaho. So throughout high school, I've been working really hard, tirelessly on improving my golf game. That way I could play golf after high school at the collegiate level. So resources like the Sandpoint golf team, the female strength and conditioning program were huge factors in contributing to my success. I also prioritized my grades throughout high school and kept my academics good. And because of that, I'll be receiving academic scholarships on top of my athletic scholarship. I've also utilized resources like the Idaho Launch Grant. So all of that will be nice because it'll pay for my tuition. A little bit more about LC. It's named the best value school in the state of Idaho. And on top of that, the women's golf team is a top 25 program in the country for NAI. So that being said, I think it's going to be an amazing fit for me, both academically and for me to continue my golf career. And as of right now, I'm planning on going into the sports media studies. I think that's going to be great because I can translate my passion for sports into the classroom. And then, so next semester, I'm going to be doing an online class, a communications class through LC. So that class, on top of my last 2 years of dual credit English, will make it so my first year of college will be way less stressful, especially while being a student athlete. So that being said, I'm so grateful for all the opportunities and resources I've been given through SHS, and I'm so excited to start this next chapter of my life.
Aren't we lucky that we get to spend our days with these amazing, this is just a snapshot of the amazing students that we get to spend our time with, and just such incredible diverse opportunities. But we want to take a minute to also thank the teachers and the adults who have contributed to their experiences.
Thank you, Mrs. Roos, for helping me with golf and the mental aspect of it, and just helping me with the pressure and all the emotions that comes with golf, especially after a bad hole. It's really helped me throughout my high school career. And I'm excited to use all the stuff you've helped me with into college at LC playing golf. So thank you for that. You're welcome.
You're amazingly resilient, and this is going to transfer into much more than golf.
Thank you.
Guys, this is Angie Dell, and she's my trusted adult. She's the college and career advisor here at SHS, and she's really helped me gain that really competitive application. She's a real help to me. What do you think about that?
I think that students, getting them into those rigorous classes they can get into, and helping them with their college applications.
Oh, she's my mom.
So Mr. Stark has helped me, has inspired me to become a welder, and he helped me along the path in a lot of ways. He taught me how to use the plasma cutting table machine, and taught me how to use a roller so I can make some projects, like I made a smokeless fire pit earlier this year. And last year I made a double barrel wood stove, so it like burns the wood twice. It's really cool. And the welding class will go to NIC and we can get our certification. And that's really going to help me here. I'm doing
want to keep challenging him as ends up to senior year, but just proud of all the work he's put in to get to this point, and congratulations.
Mr. Crossingham always pushed me in the right direction for my career in elementary education. He always showed me what his coursework was like, and he influenced me to head down the same path. So thank you.
Very welcome. I loved having those conversations with you in class. I mean, you would sit there and ask me questions about this assignment, what this was like in school. You could tell from your sophomore, junior year, you had a goal. So can't wait to see where you get.
Okay, so last year I came to Sandpoint High School, new to the area, and I had an idea of what I wanted to do, but I wasn't exactly sure how to accomplish that. And thankfully I got into Mr. Radigan's class here, and he was able to help me pursue my dreams of owning my own business in forestry and construction. And being so, he was able to help me, visualize and take the steps necessary to get me where I want to go as soon as I graduate.
He's definitely know-how, he's got the drive. I mean, I can encourage just one or five kids to be able to do this, and if they can do what he can do, it's just amazing. He's taking advantage of every opportunity that's out there for him. Every single time that somebody's struggling, they ask questions, he answers it. He's just a really go-getter. And to be honest, I can't wait to see what you do in society.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I've had Miss Leonard for 2 years now. She was my AP Lit teacher and my Montana Lit advisor. And she's really inspired me to work hard in yearbook, and she's helped me find classes online that SHS doesn't have to offer in person, and other opportunities outside of SHS.
She has a ton of moxie, and she's super detail oriented and just a delight to have in class. And she's become one of my little itches.
I'll tell you what, this is some of the nicest decorations that you've made in some time.
It really is. I feel very good about these decorations. This is truly big time. And then look, we even got these letters here to keep the books organized, alphabetical. I mean, it is amazing. I'm sure glad we got the vision to bring in some quality furniture and make this all about the students. And really, it was our brainchild. It was our way of thinking on this, wasn't it?
It really was. And Zella, we don't give you the problem. These brand new books that we got. These are some of the nicest books people have ever seen. They're super nice.
I know. I can't believe I had the ideas of which books to get. I really put my thinking cap on and found out what books to order and all the covering. Look at this. We got them covered. You deserve all the credit for this. You really helped us out a ton, and we so appreciate you. We're going to miss you after you leave here. It's been a pleasure to work with you, and can't say thank you enough for your help on this.
Yeah, seriously, Zella.
Grateful to Mr. Dickinson and JP because they were able to help me and support me in the crazy big ideas that I had. Also grateful for Ms. Morton because she's allowed me to work at the public library and given me opportunities to expand my knowledge of libraries. And I'm also grateful for Suzanne Davis at the public library.
What questions can we answer? We are obviously so proud of these students and so many other students at the school.
I don't have any questions. I think it was a fantastic presentation. It's really exciting to see you guys all excelling in the different areas. Just a testament to what we've got going on at SHS. So thank you guys.
Thank you. Now, the board and I have treats for you that I didn't bring up here that I'm going to bring tomorrow to Sandpoint High School to share. Normally I give them to you right now, but
We'll call you in for Bulldog time. How's
that? So I'll bring it to you tomorrow. Thank
you. You can sneak on out.
Thanks, guys.
You can go.
Thanks, guys.
Hey,
Matt.
The real fun stuff is about to come, so if you want to, I mean, I understand if you want to leave, but. All right. So we have Brian Wallace, our CFO, for our financial update.
You got it?
Yeah. Well, welcome, Mr. Demers as the new trustee, but, you know, forward, Dr. Meyer, it is brutal following you.
I know.
It's a tough act. That is tough. And I was thinking about that, and one thing that, honestly, it's good that the financial report is boring, because if it's exciting, usually it's not, it's problems, yeah. So, you know, this month, of course, we're looking at the numbers from December. We had, if you look on the revenue side, a little bit of dollars came in from the levy. Those collections starting to come in, and we had some capital funding from the state come in. Most of that was literacy dollars. Otherwise, expenditures, again, are very consistent. We're averaging right around that $3.5 million for salaries and benefits, the majority of our spending. That's been consistent, so we're tracking well there. And actually, materials and supplies and that was a sort of a light month, but that's good. You know, we're tracking year to date, we're tracking pretty well. You know, from previous years, especially on the expenditure side, it's very consistent. On the revenue side, it looks a little bit down. And part of that is that we budget a little more revenue this year with the interest, and so that's sort of reflected that last year we really didn't budget that much interest to get, so it's really just the math and relative to budget, not how we're tracking as far as the money coming in. The charts, again, in the next two sheets, expenditures, the green's again growing. You can really see that salaries and benefits, again, every month we talk about, that's really what drives our budget. But we're tracking well, not going over in any other areas, really. Revenues, you can see that, you know, the supplemental levy is starting to come in. When we report in February, we'll see if we get the collections to actually be recorded, but, you know, that should go about halfway up in the supplemental levy with the first year collections when they come in. And we've gotten, you know, almost 3/4 of our dollars from the state. If we look at enrollment, this was actually from our first day back after break, and we are down, you know, 5 kids from the previous month, but again, we're maintaining about that 40-50 kid ratio is above from last year, so that's good. So most enrollment as far as the finance side anymore doesn't matter as much because we've already reported for staffing allocation, but it does drive some of our funding later in the year for our discretionary spending. So, you know, we should be better than budget in mid-February. So in March, I'll be able to report is when we get the actual first real numbers from the state and can compare. Well, we thought we were going to get X amount from the state, and how good was the projection. And finally, it's hard to believe that we're actually already starting to work on budget for next year, which is, of course, as I know, it's like, doesn't seem like you guys just approved it not too long ago. But, you know, the legislature's meeting, and the governor had his state of the state address and some of the priorities. And so this is just, so the one thing that the governor put in his proposals, we don't know where the legislature will land. One was 5% increase for the staff funding formulas. So the career ladder, the way we're funded from the state for teachers and counselors, is now built out. Now they'll just have the amounts that are in law, and they'll just add a percentage to those cells. So it's not what we pay, it's sort of how we're funded. So they're saying a 5% increase to those formulas. Roughly, that'd be about $850,000. We'll know hard numbers. I mean, this is really very, very high level before I've even gotten any numbers, but you'd say roughly. 10% increase for a health benefits unit. What does that mean? Well, they're giving us money to
through the unit funding, the way the formula works. And so if that 10% goes through, that really would be about that much. Likely, depending on where our health benefits when we do the renewal, that would be gobbled up. I mean, it'd be pretty much a pass-through. The weighted student formula, they're changing the way they're proposing, the way the current funding is on a lot of the non-employee costs, the state. I've been involved with the State Department and sort of the business officials group. We've had a subcommittee, we've seen a lot of numbers, how they're going. As a general rule, they're going to have a hold harmless clause because there's a few districts and charters that may not do as well under the new formula. It's hard to know how much additional dollars, it may be around $600,000. It could be actually much better. Some of it'll be interesting how it goes through if this actually passes, because you get additional dollars for a special education student, for a student limited English, ELL, if they're high poverty, things like that. And so those numbers could change from year to year is how the formula works. So we'll have to see if that first becomes law and what that impact would be. And as part of that weighted student formula, they take away this categorical funding. It helps fund some of it. So you're going to lose, you're going to gain. So we'll have to see. They have a new program for special needs student fund. It's a $3 million statewide. That actually would be something we'd apply for. So let's say we had one student on IEP who had very, very high needs. Let's say a very specialized one-on-one staff member or whatever the intervention might be, super expensive. You could apply to the state and say, hey, can you help us cover this extraordinary cost? And that would be we'd have to file an application. State of Washington had something similar to this. And so Idaho's proposing to put something like this in. And the other thing, the governor proposed a private school choice, $50 million statewide, might be through a tax credit. Not sure what the impact to the district, would be. There could be, long term, there could be negative, but we don't know. I don't think there's any impact next year if it's something that's passed at the legislature level. But those are a lot of the big conversations. I'll have a short update in February too as we get more information as they work through the process.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
That's it. Okay. Thank you, Brian. Any questions from the board? No? Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Meyer, Superintendent Report.
Okay, a quick one tonight for the annual meeting. Reminding everyone of our buckets of our strategic plan. So a quick update on the safety and security bucket. This is our new CSO, Campus Security Officer, funded by PACE, Derek Hagstrom. There's a bio there. The board did meet him last month and did approve him for hire. So just putting that out there in the public. And he is covering Southside, Southside Elementary, Sagal Elementary, Harmon Sidwell, and Lake Pondere High School. So Clark Fork native, and he graduated there, and so it's wonderful having him. I do want to say our student connection, I have already told the board several times about the secondary think tank, and our focus is on the student well-being and looking at social media. It closely aligns with the governor's new policy and Superintendent Critchfield decreasing cell phone usage and exposure in our high schools. So we have a K-6 policy, K-12 policy that the board had a first read last time. You guys will look at it again tonight. We are covering this. We did a book study, our secondary think tank, on the anxious generation. I would recommend it to anybody who has kids to read it. It talks a lot about just some of the implications of cell phones and some addiction and social isolation and some things that come up for any kids that have a phone-based childhood versus a play-based childhood, and finding that sweet spot to figure out as parents where that spot is, and as educators, what can we do to help support families. So we have chosen this as our focus this year for our Student Safety Summit. As you know, last year we had a Student Safety Summit. It's a parent awareness program. We had it April 17th, and we focused on fentanyl, and we had social media and talked about the dark web and some of the things that were happening. So we just really did an awareness last year. This year we're going to really focus on this book and what it means for parents. So that date is Tuesday, March 18th, and we'll have more information coming, but I just wanted you to save the date. Just reporting on the one trusted adult. Sandpoint Middle School is the only school that measures it right now in mid, and they had an increase. They went through it with, Mr. Penrose went through it with Mr. McLaughlin and I, and you can see that they have already increased. One thing that Mr. McLaughlin and I want to make sure that the board knows, this is only a 2-year school. Half of their student population is new every year. So when you're elementary, you have them for 7 years. You obviously have a lot of time to build up a one trusted adult. Sandpoint High School, they spoke, all of those students spoke about their one trusted adult. We would really like to give accolades to the middle school that they do such a great job in such a short time with their population. This is one of the board's focus areas, so we'll bring that up at the very end. The other thing with our next bucket for quality staff is to talk about, this is the sheet that talks about our deliverables, and foster cohesion, the third bullet down from the top, foster cohesion across the district, really has to do with having our grade level teams be able to talk to each other. This is, and Mrs. Murray, Andrew Murray set this up for this year. It's a grade level team meeting. All the K-6 will meet with each other, and they will talk to each other at Farm and Stigwell, and they'll talk about math this year, and with our new math Eureka Squared curriculum, and talk a lot about math this year. And Amy Skogstad is our math coach, so that's coming up shortly and helps with that goal. Our community connection, again, thanking Darren is in the back here and updating our social media and this last loop for December. If the public wants to click on any prior loops, you can hit on that click right there, or sign up for any of the social media to stay abreast of what we're doing. A few other community connections. I just wanted to point out, if folks hadn't seen this in the loop and in the paper, I do a great job at Clark Fork High School with the internships and creating those partnerships and job shadowing, which is one of our strategic initiatives for students to make connections and relevancy. I think you heard that in the Sandpoint High School presentation with the students, creating relevancy for our students out in the community to what they're going to do later in life, creates a lot of job satisfaction, not only for our staff, but a lot of connections for our students and then with the community. So just wanted to give a shout out to them at Sandpoint, at Clark Fork High School, and Becca for what they do to run that program. I also want to give a shout out to the district office, the HR department, which you see pictured here. They really pushed us this year in a positive way to increase the amount of donations we could give to the food bank. And they, on their own, kept enticing and giving soup and making soup downstairs for the district office, and then afterwards had made pies for sweet treats. And we did increase and gave over 250 pounds, which is our highest ever, from the district office to our local food bank. So wanted to thank our district office team and the HR team for leading that. Great community connection that we had with that. Reminding people our one focus, do your one thing right, and the board, you'll get to do this, Mr. Demers, is talk about the one thing you want to focus on, every student, every day. And so reminding them that at the center of all we do is our student learning. So, for data updates, is we have done, and Lisa McElroy was just sitting here, but she's gone, putting out our performance-based assessment, which is a writing prompt, and all of our schools have done that in our K-6. Finishing that and looking forward to bringing that information to you, and winter assessments with our IRI and our MAP that they use. So bringing that data to the board, reminding the public, these were the 3 focus areas that the board chose to focus on this year. So when we talked about in our prior interviews, if you were here, about what does the board have to do with student achievement, this is what the board has a lot to do with what the board does. And these are the 3 areas that they're going to measure. Okay, and unbeknownst to you, January is School Board Appreciation Month. So We would like to thank you for your service and thank all of you. We did a social media, and I'm sure we'll be doing an article about your service for the Thank you all. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to public comments. We do have a couple of folks signed up. Gonna give a quick overview here on public comments. So the Board of Trustees welcomes patron comments from the community. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person and must be appropriate for an open forum. Input must not identify individual personnel or students or be abusive, defamatory, or obscene. This is a board meeting held in public, not a public board meeting, as governed by Idaho Code 33, Section 5. Thus, no discussions or responses can occur during the meeting. Issues may be referred to the proper staff person or committee for follow-up per the board's discretion. Any complaint about this district, including instruction, discipline, district personnel, policy, procedure, or curriculum, should be referred through proper administrative channels before it's presented to the board for consideration. Should a large number of the public wishing to speak speak on the same topic, you will be encouraged to select a representative to summarize the group's position. So first up to bat, we have Sarah Gore.
Oh, okay. Hi. No, I'm not just a weirdo that just comes in here. I work for the school district. I work for the crossing guard at Farman, and I do the lunch duty at the middle school. So I've lived in Sandpoint since 2009. So I'm just throwing this idea out there. I did email Dr. Meyer about this. So my aunt lives on the 1600 block of Hickory, and a lot of students I've noticed, they attend Farman Stidwell, and they walk to and from their home and to the school. I thought maybe it would be a good idea to put a school speed limit sign on that street.
On Hickory?
Yes, okay. In the 1600, 1700 block. It does dead end, but quite a few students I see, they don't look across the street, they just go, or cars are going too fast, buses. So that's one topic. Do I go with the other one?
Yep.
That's the next topic. Yeah. So the other topic I signed up for to speak about was having more police around the crosswalk and just up and down Division. There was a child that was hit today on Hickory with his bike. He wasn't injured or hurt, but I think there just needs to be more police presence during school hours because I can't see everything. I can't leave my post, and I'm the only crossing guard on Division and the corner of Spruce. So I just think for the kids to be safe, there needs to be more police presence in that area, in the morning especially. So that's all I had. So.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And we have Geraldine Meyer from SHS.
I just wanted to report to the board, our local scholarship season will be opening February 1st, and you heard a lot about that last year, about how generous our community was. We also have 57% of our students at Sandpoint High School, thanks to our college and career advisor, who have applied for the launch grant, and those are just coming in, and that's $8,000 from the state of Idaho to help with in-demand careers. There's been lots of challenges in the state level, but we have 57% of our students who have applied for that, and we're just starting to get results of kids who've been offered offers. So it's exciting. And I also wanted to report back on we have developed a great partnership with the NIC Workforce Training Center. We've always had it with North Idaho College, but it's really exciting to see the North Idaho College, the Workforce Training Center, really develop some programs. We had, Owen was our first student. We had another student just passed his CDL. We have two students who will be doing it in February, and we have a third who is on track for March. So it is exciting that it is not costing these students. They're able to take advanced opportunity money. And then I really need to give a shout out for Angie, because we also have a student who is doing their EMT training, who just started that in February. And we have a student who just tonight is at their first class for phlebotomy. And so it's just really exciting. I know. Well, I'm like, yeah, I don't know if you can practice on us, but it's exciting. But it's exciting to see that we've had a strong, the traditional 2 or 4-year college, but it's really exciting to see some of these hands-on programs that our students are able to take advantage of. So just wanted to report those cool things, and we're just rocking and rolling. So, thanks.
Moving on to action items, I'm now going to dissolve the board and hand all of the power over to Dr. Meyer.
Only time of
we
year
come
that
in
I can
peace.
have this.
Don't hit us.
Okay. I am calling for nominations for board chair.
I'd like to nominate Lonnie Williams for board chair.
Any other nominations? Okay, hearing none, the clerk of the board will take a roll call vote for the first nominee and the only nominee. Please say yes or no, or aye or no, either one. Not here. The first nominee with the majority vote is elected.
Okay, roll call vote. Trustee Demers.
Yes.
Trustee Sherman. Yes. Trustee Wood.
Yes.
Trustee Peters.
Yes.
Trustee Williams.
Yes.
Okay, Trustee Lonnie Williams is elected board chair. I am handing the meeting back over to the newly elected board chair.
That was short-lived.
Want a couple more? Thank you. I am calling for nominations for board vice chair.
I would like to nominate myself.
Are there any other nominations?
I would like to also be nominated for vice chair.
Okay. No other nominations, so the clerk of the board will please take a roll call vote for the first nominee, Trustee Jalen Peters.
You said yes.
Same process.
Same process.
So first nominated was Trustee Jalen Peters. So roll call vote, Trustee Demers.
No.
Trustee Sherman. No. Trustee Wood.
No.
Trustee Peters.
Yes.
Trustee Williams.
No.
Okay. Next nominee, roll call vote would be for Tanya Sherman. Trustee Demers.
Yes.
Trustee Sherman. Yes. Trustee Wood.
Yes.
Trustee Peters.
No.
Trustee Williams.
Yes. Trustee Sherman is elected vice chair of the board. And now we are moving on to the appointment of the treasurer. I will hear a motion for appointment of.
Yeah.
I make a motion to appoint Valerie Corsiglia, treasurer.
I second that.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion passes. Now we are going to go to the appointment of authorized agents.
Nope. Sorry, clerk.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep,
That's okay.
skipped one. The appointment of the clerk, so I will hear a motion for the appointment of the clerk of the board.
I make a motion to appoint Kelly Fisher, clerk of the board.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. Now we are on to the appointment of authorized agents. I will authorized agents.
I make a motion to appoint Dr. Becky Meyer, Brian Wallace, and Kelly Fisher as authorized agents for the Lake Fundraise Ministry.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion passes. I will now hear a motion for the appointment of the custodian of records.
I make a motion to appoint Kelly Fisher as the custodian of records.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 None opposed? That motion passes. Right. The Code of Ethics.
Chair, if I may, in front of you and in the packet were the Code of Ethics. It's Board Policy 1600. I just ask that you review and sign that and return to me every year. There's no motion needed, this current board policy.
Thank you. And then we also have our the approval of the board meeting location and dates for 2024 and 2025 as presented. Or I'm sorry, 2025 and 2026.
Yes, and I'm sorry I didn't update that motion, that sample motion.
All right. I will hear.
I make a motion to approve the board meeting locations, dates for 2025-26 as presented.
I'll second.
Any discussion on those? All in favor of the presented 25-26 board meeting calendar?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion passes. All right. Sorry.
We're at notice of posting locations.
Yep. I would take a motion on the approval of the posting locations for.
I make a motion to approve the notice of posting locations.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion passes. And wireless networking. Did I miss one?
Nope.
Nope.
That's it.
All right, we have Matt Brass. Yeah, I don't know if we. Yeah, we have wireless access point switches approval. My LASIK's working as good as it used to. So Matt has done a very detailed summary of what they're going out to for the wireless networking equipment. Do you have any questions on this? We're ready to move forward. I'll hear a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda, request form wireless access point switches approval. Is that right?
Correct.
Yep.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Moving on, we have a resolution for the 2-hour late start. It was on the 18th. And I will take a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve resolution 25-01 2-hour late start.
A second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. All right, moving on to second reading of policy. This is policy 3265 electronic devices.
I will make sure that the board knows that I, in follow-up, had some discussion. As I told you last time, I discussed with all 3 high school groups, and then we got input from the Sandpoint Middle School, and that's why we added the green here. So during class times, students are prohibited from using the cell phones during all class time at all grades K through 12. Then during passing periods, K-8, not allowed to use a passing period anywhere K-8, but they are at the high school level at all 3 high schools. During lunch times, they're not allowed, except for if it's an incentive, and you can see down here on number 5, it says as allowed by an administrator for a student incentive program. So they are sometimes allowed at Clark Fork and or Sandpoint Middle School. They do have an incentive program, so there is a caveat there at the middle level. But then you can see in bathrooms, locker rooms, and changings during school hours at all grades K through 12, and that's after Trustee Peters and some discussion last time. And I just want to remind the board that the research shows, and I am in support of turning off cell phones for the entire school day. My professional opinion is that we should, it would be better for students to not have them on at all. They go away completely, and at the end of the day, then they can open them up. But there was some pushback from the student groups, and I will remind the board that last month we talked about maybe gradually going into that. I think also with the parent night coming up on March 18th, the Anxious Generation, and talking about some of the research and some successful districts and states across the country would speak to that, and I think that our teachers will speak to it. I think that might help parents and students and the board know that they're the positive benefits of that. So I feel like this is a great first step, and by signing, if we vote this in, the board, I'm hoping the board votes positively for this tonight, we will receive that $5,000 from the governor to put this into place this year.
I'll entertain a motion on.
I make a motion to adopt the revisions to policy 3265, student-owned electronic communications devices as revised.
I second.
Is there any discussion?
I just have one thing. Reading over this, I was in the audience last time, and Jane brought up some great comments about this. But with personal experience, if you don't tell the kids that they need to turn them off, it doesn't matter if it's in their locker cubby or out of sight. I've had phones in their Uggs going off in class. Eventually, and if you don't tell them that they need to turn it off, they're not going to turn it off. They're going to forget. So I always used to tell them, make sure it's in your locker. I don't know how many times the principal and I would walk down the hallway, and all of a sudden the locker would be buzzing or going off, and then you had to chase someone down to get them. They might be out on the field in PE, and it just keeps going. Now I know some parents are calling for emergencies and things like that. They also can call the office, which is part of this. But I just think that when it says that when the use of personal electronic devices is not permitted, such devices must be stored and turned off. Because if you don't remind them, it's going to be their kids. They're going to forget about it.
And I think that's the important part with our admin and teaching staff that's boots on the ground. Obviously, we empower them to make that announcement, make sure to drive this initiative. And, I think it'll be a benefit across the board.
So are you saying, are you suggesting on this sentence here, must be stored and turned off? Are you wanting me to add that in here?
I think that it just makes sense that if, they can read this and say, okay, well, I can put it here, but it doesn't say that I have to have it off. So if I take it into the classroom, can I have it on? Again, you put the teacher in a situation where all phones need to be turned off.
It says could you use it, so could you say just silenced instead of turned off?
If it were, silence works. I mean, if it's a low hum, I guess, that can kind of get to a teacher. I don't know how else to do it other than just say it's not permitted. I mean, you need to have it off.
So point of order, if we could ask the clerk if that's able, we have to To get the $5,000, we have to have that approved tonight, but
Yeah.
if I could ask for a point of order.
You could add that to the motion with your amendment of language in addition to,
Okay.
if you guys are obviously.
Yeah, I'm certainly not opposed to it. I just want to make sure that I'm not opposed to that stance at all. I just want to make sure that we get the motion correct for the passage of this so that we do not stumble on the.
Would we, a question with that, would we run into an issue if a parent was trying to get a hold of them in an emergency, at least at the high school level, where they're allowed to have it with them if it's off and they can't get a hold of them other than calling the office? I mean, if they're allowed to have the phone, just not use it, stands to reason that they can still be alerted in an emergency. If it's off, they wouldn't get that alert. So I don't know if that makes a difference.
I guess, you know, from practical experience, if one school might say that you just put it in your cubby and that's fine. Another teacher may say, I want them off. So what you're doing is you're putting the teacher against someone else possibly that allows one thing or another. I think if it just, you're putting your cubby and they're off. I mean, I really think that if a parent really does need to get a hold of somebody during class time, I mean, the office is the best way to do it.
Where did we propose? So
When it's under this containment of devices, what I heard him say is when use of personal electronic devices is not permitted, such devices must be stored and silenced in 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how I heard it.
Yeah, silenced or not. I think Jalen had it, you know, if it's, my phone, I mean, if it came on and buzzed right now, it's probably, you know.
You'd still hear it there. Yeah, you'd still hear it, so there's that possibility.
Okay, so I suppose I've got a question for you, Kelly. To amend this at this point, and we have a motion on the floor, so we're just gonna amend this to say when use of personal electronics devices is not permitted, such devices must be stored and silenced. How do you factor that into
So you could just make an amendment to your motion.
Okay.
So I amend my motion to include language must be stored and silenced.
Under containment devices, okay. We need to second the.
Yes.
Yep.
Second.
Second. Here, second, okay. Any further discussion on the topic? Okay. All in favor of the motion on the floor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion passes. Thank you, guys. Woo-hoo. All right, moving on to the consent agenda. I will hear a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion passes. All right, moving on to board non-action items. We have the first reading of policy. We have policy 8530, property damage. This is a new policy. Brand's mentioned it's all yellow. You have any early grammatical critiques? Okay. Trustee Sherman, did you have, are you good?
Okay.
Okay.
We're just saying that any of these in advance, you can ask questions to whoever would pertain to have clarification, so that when we come into the meeting,
Yeah.
that we have already had those issues, questions, and answers.
Yep. Sure.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. My apologies.
Must be that seat, because that happened to Geraldine right there too.
This is This is brutal. It's a good thing nobody's looking at me.
You're just sitting there by yourself, don't worry.
That's right. All right.
All alone.
Cry myself to sleep. All right, moving on to first reading of policy 9805, memorials on school grounds. Do we have any questions on this new policy as well? No? Okay. All right, well, do we have any administrative announcements? Any of our administrators?
It's January and we're just welcoming kids back from the break, building those routines again. We're in the middle of getting ready for all of our mid-year testing. Super exciting. It's awesome to see student growth and then use the data and just keep learning every day. So yeah, we're plugging along.
Jenny Smith, principal of
Oh, yeah.
Southside Elementary. Dr. Jansen? Mr. McLaughlin?
No, nothing right now.
Mrs. Grenier?
Sure, I'll just Carrie Grenier, assistant principal at San Floyd High School. I'll just give a quick shout out that we are in the throes of Battle for the Paddle Week. And Friday, we kick off with girls basketball at 4 o'clock and followed by wrestling under the light, varsity wrestling, and I believe that's scheduled at 6 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock. There's a lot of activities that happen in between, and followed by boys varsity basketball at 8 o'clock, and there is a lot of student involvement, a lot of student interaction. It's very hot and very loud, but we'd invite anybody who would like to come. I'm sure we would probably even buy a ticket for anyone who would like to join us. But we're in for an exciting night.
I already bought my ticket.
Don't ask for your money back.
Free water.
Free water, okay, perfect.
Mr. Pressingham?
Yeah, lots of enthusiasm from the kids, so thank you, Mrs. Grenier. And if you want to just get a jump start on that, we have girls that we're hosting at 7 o'clock tonight at San Francisco High School. The girls varsity team is doing a really cool process this year where they're acknowledging different people who have helped support them at the beginning of their games. And so this game we're going to be highlighting our custodian staff. So we invite you out tonight at 7 if you're looking for something else to do.
I'd like to comment also on the Instagram page, showcasing your pretty sweet dance moves yesterday.
Yes.
That was nice. So.
She was my dance instructor.
My resume is long and varied.
I have one more thing to add. I didn't put it in my
Dr.
superintendent report because it's not official yet, but I would like to, I've informed the board, but I would like to make a public thank you to Darren Svahn and to Kyle Olmstead. I don't know if you heard, but we had over 80 people show up for our parent interest night. That was, they did a real quick turnaround to do a first parent interest, student interest, and that was at 3:15 at San Fran High School in the library. And there's over 80 people that showed up for that first meeting. And then they'll do another one in 2 weeks from now. And so I'd like to thank them for putting that together. And it's a great opportunity, and if enough students sign up, then we will be having a junior ROTC program in our community. There's only one other one in the entire state.
Oh, wow.
So it's a huge accolades. We did get a letter from Senator Crapo. And, he's really excited about it, and we appreciate the work that Kyle has actually sent us his certification. So Mr. Olmstead is even certified and get the students to sign up with the state and the Army. He is ready and willing to go. So huge thank you to the work that he has got. 2.5 years we've been working on this with Mrs. Crossingham and Kyle, and it's been a big process. And Darren had a daughter that did this program, not here, but it all came together, and I just was super happy with how much interest there was in that first flush. So thank you to those guys.
All right. No more announcements. We'll entertain a motion to move into executive session. Got their reading glasses on.
my far side off. to do
Switch
it.
glasses.
Yeah. I make a motion to move into executive session as provided for in Idaho Code, Title 74, Section 206, subsection 1B, to consider the evaluation, dismissal, or disciplining of, or to hear complaints or charges brought against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual agent or public school student.
Second?
Second.
Roll call? Roll call.
Roll call vote, trustee Demers?
Yes?
Trustee Sherman? Trustee Wood?
Yes.
Trustee Peters?
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Thank you, motion passes.